I'm just.
Is that separate file from mine?
What we can do, I think the outcome of this is to create. I'm going to create a Git repository with all the files and everything in there. So, because there's two journeys really, there's people who create boxes and people who consume them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have all the box creation, the automation of because majority of the work for somebody who creates a box is setting up the Windows VM to do everything it needs to do to be able to work with Vagrant.
Yeah.
So that's the majority of the work. And then when you have, I got scripts.
Is that what we're going through?
Huh?
Is that what we're going through, setting up the box?
I don't want to go too much into that. I'm just going to show most of how it works and how I automated it, and then get the actual go into a box has already been set up, total login, and do all of that shenanigans.
Is the date? I'm just going to go and check Oliver. Oliver, no, he's gone home. Oh, he's gone. Yeah. Oh, dear, we need to check. Took a ice cream for dinner. Yeah. What? I said you there, yeah. No one else? What's that? Took a ice cream for dinner. Oh, I also thought it was Donna mate in the middle of They just sit on my desk. Where are you going to? Yeah, no, we're going to go there.
Anyone else? Go out to draw.
Just waiting for more people. Some other people coming in. Most of the shenanigans going to happen on console.
Tell me to move up again anyway, Chad.
Is he here, right?
I'm just waiting for someone else to join. It doesn't work here. Person particularly just hoping someone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah. And I don't know whether we'll join it. We'll start in about 3 minutes or so.
Yeah. So how many of you guys use currently? Awesome. All Linux boxes, yeah? And Windows. Cool. Both. Brilliant. This is going to be then might be boring for you guys because it's just kind of showing Vagrant, what you can do with Vagrant, but targeting a Windows really. There's plenty of love for Linux already, so it will be just let's get using in Windows. Huh? Don't big myself up.
No, you know, you're not selling it, yeah.
That's all right.
The way you work, that's how you should start.
Yeah. It's fucking amazing. Yeah. It is fucking amazing. It is good actually. Everybody should be. I don't have other than on my local machine. I actually have nothing else installed. I don't have SDN. I have nothing. You just use virtual machines for my work. I haven't got many virtual at the moment because I think everybody probably went through the pain of. Some of you might be here long enough to actually be being involved in causing the pain for future developers. I'm not going to name names, but the development environments are pretty mental to set up. And I have even, the other day I had somebody new coming up and saying, how do you get to run you set up how do you run the services? They'll say, well, you have just run rake. I run rake and I'm missing a bunch of stuff. Well, what's this development goodness? What's the albatross? It's like, well, did you follow the development machine setup on the wiki? And it's like, the wiki? Nobody reads the wiki. I say, well, you have to, because if you didn't, your machine doesn't work. It will never work. So hold him, behold. 2 hours later, he came back and said, it's all working now. Good. Yeah. So I went through that pain of setting up on my virtual machine just to see what I needed to do. And one is actually to automate that and have the entire development environment for playrooms automated in a virtual box. And
we've already got one, by the way.
We already have one.
Yeah. It's a virtual box with playrooms development environment.
That's good.
One of the biggest problems we have, which is why this is great, is no one talks to anyone.
So when if
you've gone through that pain,
yeah,
if people have talked to each other, someone could point you at a virtual box that's got that on.
Really?
It's probably on the wiki.
It probably is, yeah, it probably is.
Because otherwise, how else should we share that around?
Yeah, I know. I think the people that do these sort of things, they need to shout about it. And
also, a lot of the more recent products got much more streamlined. So you're right, there's a whole Deployatron and Albacore extensions and stuff, which got rate installed globally on everyone's boxes. More recent projects have got on proper route of using bundler. So you just do bundle install.
Which I've seen that on some projects. Other projects just don't have it. It's just an exercise, and somebody who works on a particular project and they notice that there's no bundle, just do it. Maybe it's a brown bag that we do in the future about how to get our projects using bundle without having to go through this pain. For anybody who know what bundle is, it's just a kind of a Ruby gem that allows you to bundle all the dependencies for your project, so all your Ruby dependencies. So you can just bundle in and then installs all that crap into your virtual machine. You don't have to go through rake. Oh, read the stack trace and find out, okay, I need this one, and then try and find out yourself. Right. Vagrant is not a virtual machine. Vagrant is something that manages virtual machines. Is a virtual machine manager. It literally allows you to automate, and it basically allows you to automate the creation, destruction, and provision of virtual machines. So you can create a virtual machine in Linux or Windows, create as a base install, add it to Vagrant, and then you can, using Vagrant, you can create a bunch of shell scripts that will install Puppet, install chocolatey, and then it goes and installs a bunch of other stuff like SDN and so on. And that goes, all that can actually be version controlled. So you can have a base virtual machine that all the scripts to actually set up the virtual machine, and not only, it also install the software that goes into it, can actually be version control, which is part of kind of the journey towards continuous delivery, where you actually, all your configs are versioned. So you can create, and it's also allowed, this tool also allows you to do version machines themselves. You have a repository or boxes sitting perhaps on the Z drive or on the internet somewhere, and they're all versions. So when somebody actually take care of the virtual machines, they can, where's, I'm actually recording, yeah, I'm recording now, that's brilliant, but there's no sound yet. Now it's connected, that's cool. Just making sure that we have sound. So, yeah, so you can actually version the box. Somebody who create boxes can update, there's a critical update, Windows update or something like that, they can open the basic box, make an update or install something that now is needed for everybody else, and then they can place it back into the report to the main box repository. And every time, everybody else, when they do Vagrant Up, they're going to fetch the latest version, or it will say there is a new version. Do you want to reprovision your box? So it will do all of that. That's what the purpose of Vagrant is. Just because this is it is Windows related. Windows is well, as we all know, whenever you install Windows, you've got to do a bunch of stuff with it. And I'm just going to start this is a clear install of Windows Server 2008 Enterprise. I'll start in a minute. And with Windows Vagrant, really, it's the automation to be able to do all the provisioning. It needs to be, the box needs to be set up properly. The first problem is you need to log in, and one of the things that I automated is the auto login for the box. So what? Password. And there are other things that happen as well. This is just a clean box, and the problems with the Windows box at the moment. So we have the auto login. There's the shutdown tracker. So if I go to try to shut down, it gives me that, which is no good. We need to get rid of that. There's this box as we need to get rid of this. So we would, say do not show this a log on. Again, another one that will start up in a minute is this one. We also do not want to show this a log on. We would turn this off. And there's for the way the Vagrant works about provisioning a box is, especially for Linux, for example, uses SSH. And there's up into a couple of years ago, there was no real way of doing the same with a Windows box until PowerShell came in, which they created as part of the PowerShell installation. You get something called Windows RM, which is a Windows remote management tools. Windows RM allows you to basically, in the same way, connect to a Windows box like you connect to SSH to a Linux box to be able to run console commands. And all these console commands are run within PowerShell, which allows you to run batch files, PowerShell scripts, and whatnot. So it is on a default install. PowerShell is already there. As you can, it's already there. This is PowerShell, but it's not set up properly to actually run to allow the remote access. But I'm not going to go and bore everybody with all this on regards. Let's set up a box. We're going to be sitting here for ages. But I'll show you what I have done already, and it gives you an idea of what you actually need to do. So machine. So first things first. So for PowerShell, we need to set up the execution policy to remote signed to force, which tells it not to bother about certificates and whatnot. We also disable the UAC. We disable the IE extensions, i.e. the IE exceptions that stops you. When you log into a Windows box, it keeps asking you, do you want to add this website to the secure list? You can just disable that, and we just disable it in registry. There's a way we also disable the shutdown tracker. One thing that we should really do as well with the Windows box, we disable Windows updates. So the box, as you're using it, is not going to get fatter and fatter and installing a bunch of MSIs inside of the Windows folders because you're applying patches. We disable complex passwords for the box. So one of the big problems that even happened with I love doing this. In fact, if anybody using boxes, all my passwords, I always use passwords #123, and most Mac users don't know how to get hash out of their keyboard. So I sit there for 10 minutes laughing at them, trying how to get hash, and they go to Google to look and know how to get hash out. But that's stopping you doing that at least. Also, I enable remote desktop, and this is about the Windows RM. So Windows RM, I tell the default memory for the shell scripts. timeouts, increase them. We allow unencrypted connections, and we say you just use basic authentication, because Windows IAM is basically as if it was kind of just like a web service running on a box, and all the protocol is just HTTP when Vagrant connects to it. Follow the app. You also disable the firewall; it's not needed. And then we create a local Vagrant user, which is it's going to be called Vagrant with password Vagrant, and it will be a super admin. And that basically sets the box. But the only thing to do is that I haven't automated yet is the auto login. But to do auto login on a virtual machine is really easy. We'll just click run here. I already have there's a little tool called control space user passwords too, that you just run and just opens this. And it says user must use the passwords to log in. I just untick that and I say apply, and you ask me for the passwords. Say password #123, password #123. So this box now should auto log in, and the box is done. At this moment on, so we would run the file to set up the box the way it needed to be set up, do the passwords, and the box is finished. There's nothing else installed in it. You can go on and install IS if you want, if you don't want to provision or install. So talking about provisioning, one thing that I kind of had thought about, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to do this, was to actually, as part of my provision using Puppet or so on, to actually have a box that just use Puppet to install Video Studio and SQL Server and things like that. But those installs can be really lengthy and take a lot of time, because you'll see in a minute how a user would see a box and how they would use it. You would install that, you fetch the box from the location, then you go Vagrant init, which would then create all your kind of local environment specific box, and then you do first time Vagrant Up, it runs through the provisioning scripts. But if you're sitting there for an hour listening, a silent install Video Studio is kind of boring. So it's probably likely that with a Windows box, you might actually want to install some of the tools already on a virtual machine and have a couple of ones, a clean one with SQL Server, one with IIS and SQL Server, and so on. So you can kind of mix and match. Anyway, this is one box done. I'm just going to turn it off. I'm not going to use this one. Yeah. Now, about how to build a box is really simple. I'm just going to go into this folder. Got a couple of files there I created. So Vagrant, the way it works is that you can tell Vagrant the way you kind of Vagrant communicates and knows what setup to use is through this Vagrant file, which is just like a configuration file for your VirtualBox. For your VirtualBox, no, for your virtual machine. And I'll show you here how it looks like. And it's that simple. It's basically a Ruby script that you tell what version of Vagrant you want to use and so on. And then you can set up default things like my virtual machine name is Windows 2008. The communicator is the provisioner tool. So if you were using a Linux box, it probably SSH. This one is WinRM. I also, for my example, I'm not using the Vagrant user. I'm just using administrator anyway. So it's administrator. I set up my WinRM username and password that's going to be used to communicate with Windows IRM. And also, I tell Vagrant that the guest is actually a Windows box, because Vagrant has got support for quite a few provisioners. So you have VirtualBox, you have, VMware. There's also the enterprise version of the VMware. I forgot the name of it. And there's a couple of other provisioners. So you can change the provisioner you want to use. And for the provider, saying VirtualBox, and also for this example, I'm telling I want to GUI to appear. So it basically, because the common thing that, especially people using Windows, that they just use RDP. They just don't bother with the VirtualBox GUI. They just start the box silently. There's no screen. They just RDP into the box and work that way. So in this example, I can say, now just give me the box. Also, I hard coded the MAC address there, but there's nothing to worry about. And the way that you work with it really is for at least for the kind of APIs and all the protocols, you just set port forwarding. So in here, I got my RDP port forward from my local box to, sorry, this is my host. So if I do 13.3.8 RDP, it's going to go into my virtual machine. Same thing with Windows RM. This is the port I set up for Windows RM. So if I can even though Vagrant will do all the provisioning for me anyway, I can have extra scripts of my own making that goes and installs other things on my box. Both timeouts, and then this is how you tell it to provision stuff. So in here, I'm telling start my box and then echo the box name. Is where it installs chocolatey. Unfortunately, it's not working at the moment. I just run it today, and my chocolatey install is broken. So I'm gonna I don't need to take it out of it because we're not using this one. So this is how Vagrant knows how to deal with your box. Building a box is that simple. I open actually in Notepad. So it's really simple. One thing I did find with the VirtualBox packaging for Vagrant is that you can, in the Vagrant website, they tell you how to package a machine. So when you say in boxes, creating a box, it tells you what you need to do, what you need to do in the box, and says that you need to export the box in a specific format and so on. I tried it unsuccessfully through VirtualBox to say if I want to export this one, I would just go into export appliance, choose the box that I want, and then choose the right format and so on. And for the life of me, I can't get it to work properly. I export it, fine, the box is perfect. As soon as I try to add the box to Vagrant, it just dies. Vagrant does not like the format. So but luckily Vagrant has got its own packaging, what's the name, online, which is basically here you just say Vagrant package. This is my Vagrant file. So you can package a box without adding a Vagrant file, with a whole Vagrant file. So if somebody was to Vagrant up that box, that file always run. So if you're creating a box and you want that box to have specific things, you would put it on your own box Vagrant file. So when you're packaging, you go package file, my file name, what's the base image name is, and what should the output be, which will create a WinUp box. And also allows you to include extra files. So this is my install base file that installs chocolatey. So we would add those files to match your box as well. So this box would always install chocolatey, ready for the user to use it. The other one, once that process is done, what you would do, you add the box into, this is now a kind of user journey. When a box is already created, as a user, I keep opening the wrong one. As a user, I would just say Vagrant, add the name of the box, which is usually where just the name you want it locally, and the location. And the location can be anything, it could be an HTTP location, UNC path, or whatever. So it could be a website where Vagrant will go and download, and I'll show you how it works in a minute. So let me go out of here. So we're going to use this box I have here, so DNS, test build, etc. So I created a box already. We got the WinUp box, so I'm going to give Vagrant package. I'll just have the bit open there. Package. I'm going to package my Vagrant file, but I'm going to take this out. This is not going to work. Why don't I just copy this? Huh? I'm going to copy this guy. Copy. So I say Vagrant package, Vagrant file name, I want to get it. Get me this box for my provider. Output this box. So that's going to go and do all of this silently. It takes a little while. I need to run this as an admin. That's better. When I look at here, it's easy. All right. No. It always happen like this. I run this like 3 times before this session. So I'm going to go into my other folder, which works. CD data, VM. Yeah. So let me just show you something. I have already installed some of the boxes locally here. So it's the way that you say the Vagrant box /list. Now you see that I have boxes already there. I'm going to delete one of them. I'm going to delete the IS one. So I'm going to go Vagrant box remove. This is what, as a user, what you could do. You install box and it's available. That will install into your user data folder. So that box physically, that 3 gig box is going to be on your profile, sitting there. Whenever you provision, it will get that box and install it in the location where you want the box to go. Needs to be, oh yeah, someone else. Okay. So I will do this script work. So I'm going to do build box. And that's what it done is package, base file, base machine. It says already exists the file. So let me delete the file. Well, anyway, I'll leave the file there. Actually, there's no point because it takes a while to build the boxes and I don't want to bore people. So in here, you would have created this box file, which has got all the files that you need. So if I open in 7-zip, you can see it's got all the files in there. Disk there, so 3.2 gig. There's also the OVF file, which is just the VirtualBox metadata file for the hard disk. This is some default Vagrant file it creates. It says include whatever Vagrant files in the include folder. And the Vagrant file that we have is this one. So if I were to remove and right click and open that, you can see that this is my Vagrant file. So every time I provision this box, this is going to run. Close that. And we're going to provision this box now so we can see. I'm going to Vagrant. Oh, first I need to add the box because I deleted it. So add box. So we just say, oh, it's adding the wrong box. That's fine. So it's gonna Vagrant box goes and fetch my box from whatever location it is. So at the moment it's just in the local folder. Copies it to my user folder. and it would tell me that the box is added now. This is how a user would say, oh, I want an IS box. They will get the location, add to the virtual machine, then they can start provisioning as many as they like. So then again, I can go to my Vim folder and say Vagrant init, and then I give IS server, and that will create a bunch of default files. So if you look inside here, we created the default Vagrant file with a bunch of stuff that you can, bunch of comments on what you can do and change. We don't need any of that. What I will do though is that I just need to double check the file that he did package with. I think it doesn't need that, so it's gonna run okay. I'll go back to here. Now in Vim, so CLS this again, I can say now that I have installed init the box on my environment, I can just say Vagrant Up, and you should go and start the box. So he knows I'm using VirtualBox as a provider. It starts to pick up the box from my user data folder, importing it to the location, the default location where I have all my virtual boxes. And in this machine would be, if I just move this to the side, I have all my VMs going into here. So it will create a VM normally where you have it set up anyway. So this is my default folder for my virtual machines for VirtualBox. You will create a new VirtualBox in here and uses this weird names, test default, blah, blah, blah. You can actually give it a different naming convention if you want. I just leave the default one. It doesn't collide with anything, so it just sits there. Takes about a minute or so to import the box. And that's you when you do it once. When you want to create a box to work on, you would do your Vagrant init in a folder. Let's say you have automated shared dependencies, a VirtualBox that will, it's got Video Studio, it's got all the shared dependency stuff there, and then automatically goes in and fetches the latest version of shared dependencies and build it, runs Rake and build it for you. So basically, it's installed, it's already installed on IS, and all you have to do is work on it, check in, and then close the box. You would do this only once. You would automatically install everything, set it up. You can make all your changes. Next time you do Vagrant Up, you wouldn't have to import the box again because the box is already been created. But if you wanted a separate box, you would do something else. So now it created the box, it's built in my virtual machine now. See, set up my interfaces, set up the MAC address for the box, create my port forwarding rules I wanted. One, the common people you do is port 80 as well. So if you just want your local machine port 80 to go to the guest machine, you can just port forward port 80 or any other port that you want. And then it just boots the machine. And once that is done, it will run the provisioning scripts. And this one is the provisioning script on this one is just give me the machine name. So you'll see in a console the machine name pop up. There's just one thing. There's a small little bug on the current version of Vagrant. This is version 1.6. And what it does is when it gets waiting for the machine to boot, if you run this in trace, you can see that it's querying VirtualBox APIs to say what's the machine status. And keeps doing that until the machine is boot up and ready, which is already ready, but it doesn't figure out. So actually I got a 2-minute timeout there that once that time's out, it will go, okay, everything's fine, and it's going to go and provision the box. But for now, I'm not too bothered. Provision once as well, so if you start this again, it wouldn't provision your things again. It would just start the box and sit there, and you can just ignore that and just work on it. But you cannot. The other thing you can also do is if you want to provision the box again for whatever reason, you can do Vagrant Up -- provision, and that will reprovision the box, the same box. So we just wait a little while the machine name appears. And because it's a console, you can pretty much do anything. For the example of the chocolatey, my script for chocolatey, I'll show you in a minute if I can. Windows, build. So the way I did it, I have my Vagrant file. I have in my Vagrant file here on a shell. Oh no, it's not that one. It's probably this one. I set it to run this batch file called install base, and the install base batch file is literally a PowerShell command. It's just a PowerShell run as bypass security policies and everything, and that picks up the file on the folder and just runs my PowerShell script, which is the installed chocolatey. So on a PowerShell script, it just does a bunch of stuff. Set up the machine path, add the path to the environmental variables, downloads the chocolatey install, and then installs the box. And in here you can see it is mounting the shoulders, and then it's running my provision script. And you should say the machine name in there in a second.
Have you set any of these up to do late rooms development on yet?
Yes. So here's my machine name.
Do they work? Do you not need to put them on the domain?
No. But I'll show you my virtual. In fact, I can turn this into a JMeter session if you want. But anyway, here's the virtual machine. Auto login. It's got firewall standoff. If I want to get the chocolatey, is anybody using chocolatey before? Yeah. It's that easy. You can install anything you want. You can install SVN, Visual Studio if you want as well. It lets you install Visual Studio. And it's just like a package manager. They just choco install in the package that you want, and you will silently install whatever you told it to install. And I'm almost there with that. Just the error that I was getting was something to do with a permission, something rather. So I'm gonna sort that out. But virtual machines. There's a virtual machine that I have, which is my dev environment. It's called Windows 8.
Where are you getting your images from?
I have my own MSDN, so I'm using my own ISOs for now. I don't have it. I'm not actually using any keys, so this box is gonna it will run out at some point. So I got some trial versions of Windows, and I have my own MSDN. So my dev machine I think is registered already. And they don't, to answer your question, they don't need to be on, my caps lock was on, they don't need to be on, caps lock's off. I can't remember my password now. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Caps lock is off. There you go. This is not yet, doesn't have all the automation that you guys seen on the other ones. It's just a Windows 8 box. So I got SOAP UI installed. I have everything installed really here. So Rake, the whole shenanigans with Rake is there. I go in IIS. I have, for hotel distribution side of things, I have all applications installed.
You get these Vagrant files into anywhere?
I am going to do that. So there's a repository in Git on my personal Git account called I think Vegan boxes, which I will send it today with all my files in there. My plan was at least for my personal use, I'm going to create the main kind of a folder that contains all a tutorial and all the how to set up a brand new virtual Windows machine for Vagrant with all the scripts there. The goal is to automate it completely, which is almost there. The PowerShell script, the only thing that doesn't have is the auto login. So basically, you go into the box double click and run the PowerShell version of the file, and it just goes in and set up the box completely for you. And then I'm going to create as probably at that point, I'm going to create a base virtual machine that got all the Vagrant, install whatever, install Puppet, and then install chocolatey, and then leave it like that, and use that as a template to start creating virtual machines for different parts of products. So, for example, dependencies, create a shared dependency, basically late room services and whatnot virtual machine that we put it on our private Git repository. So we have one Git repository with a bunch of folders for different parts of our solutions. So you could have shared dependencies, you could have anything really, just VirtualBox for the files, not the actual boxes themselves, but the files, setting up the box for development, all in now a private Git repository. Yeah, so your question, I have the Windows box here. I got Hotel Details API, LR External, LR Services, the what else? XML booking, XML feeds old, and it's all the things that we use. So the box is already set up. So we can. The cool thing is that right now the way that there's one thing that's not completely automated, at least in some of the applications, is setting up IIS. Hotel Details uses MS Deploy, so actually the setup of IIS is automated already. So we can actually run our own rake scripts, our own build scripts to actually install the projects on our virtual machines. So you're actually not creating two automated scripts for this. You're using the same one that's used in live. So when you're making changes to your automation script for the VirtualBox, you're also enhancing whatever you're doing on live. So if you change the way that's set up on IIS by you need a new binding, you just do it there with the MS Deploy in the same place, and then when they go to live, it installs in the same way. So even the actual environment is now still version controlled and still testable, because you can go in, reprovision the machine, see what happens, and continue.
You know the Windows Server image you've got that you're going to share with everyone? How is that licensed?
There's no license key on it.
So it's just
the thing that I need is just a trial. So the thing that I need is just probably speak to help desk and just ask for a serial key. Just say, give me a serial key that I can put on the virtual, and that's it.
You're going to struggle with.
You won't be able to get that. Everyone will have to have an MFDN camp.
We must have a volume license.
No, we don't.
No.
So all the way through this, the thing that's in the back of my mind is,
You can't
great,
spin them.
but you can't use them. Because you've
You
got
can run
your
them
own
as a trial
personal
license.
trial version of Windows.
You can rebase
But if these get
boxes.
audited, your computer is violating a whole bunch of
Yeah,
trial
yeah, it
rules.
is, yeah. One thing you can do with trial is that you can rebase them 3 times. That basically gives you almost 6 to 9 months worth of free trial. Yeah,
No, yeah, you can do that.
yeah, you can do that, yeah. You can just, once you have virtual machines about to expire and it expires and say you need to put a license key, you just rebase, and then it resets the trial. And you can only do that twice. So the trials are 180 days, so that times 2 is almost a year.
So work on license all the same.
Say again?
Does it work all the same, whether it's licensed or not?
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does, yeah. It does work all the same, yeah. Yeah.
What's the problem?
It's not
you're
illegal,
trying
no.
to solve?
It's only illegal when
Well,
you
the problem,
register with
at least for is the problem I'm trying to solve is the virtual environments. They're always different. For example, in my team for hotel distributions, because we are a very new team, yeah, we only really started as an actual team the last, I don't know, 3 months or a bit longer than that. But in essence, hotel distribution didn't actually exist. It was just one person, which was Shen. And everybody's machine is completely set up differently. So Shen's machine is probably the one that's got most of the applications successfully installed running in the olden days, in the way that you have everything in one IIS website with every single virtual directory sitting there with all the apps running. And what else? But my machine is set up differently, as you can see. Simon's machine, some of the projects are yet not working on his machine. Arwell's machine is also not completely set up, and it's just this, if somebody new comes in, they have to go through the pain of having to find out, oh, there is a wiki that people actually update, but other people don't read, and can I trust this? And they go and install stuff, and they waste time. They waste time setting up local environments.
You're right about wasting time, but this might be controversial, but I think that's a brilliant learning curve.
I agree with you,
yeah. Anyone who comes in has to set up their box. But then what happens when you've got an issue and you're like, oh God, what was it? I don't know. I just feel like a lot of this could be solved by sorting out the actual setup of the products.
Yeah.
So like you say, a lot of them, the newer ones, hotel details, all the search, the new web platform stuff, it's all just bundle install, break setup, done.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do, 2 commands.
But only but I see what you're saying, but isn't it the same problem again, that we're automating too much? The argument is automation can be used against that as well. It's just like, why shouldn't I tell them, go install everything?
Because those are the same things run in the test environments and in the live environment.
Well,
you've not had to do that, and you've just...
I think what I'm suggesting is that the box, the way they work is at the moment, the only automation, the only manual process that happens on any of the live boxes is the fact that you have to go in there and set up IS for some of the apps. Most of the other apps, you just point your pipeline to it, and it will automatically the application there. It will install everything it needs. It will install set up IS, copy the right versions of secure configs and everything else, and dump it in there. But there's no way for us to test it. There's no testing for that. This way, we can still use the same scripts to actually create a live-like environment locally on your machine where you can test something. I can say, I need to create share dependencies. I need to get a class services box set up with the exact version that's in live, set up in the same way that is in live. I could do it this way. I can just provision a box, tell it as part of the provision on my Vagrant file, can put the revision number that needs to be or whatever, however we want to automate that, and you'll create the box identical to live. And then, because it's identical to live, I can try to reproduce the same problem. In fact, obviously, it goes a little beyond that because the data side of things is not there, but in essence, it will be identical to live. You can even point, probably you can't, but you could point to QA or some box where it's at and try to test it. It's just, there's several issues. I mean, it's just really, it's just kind of making that journey fast for our day-to-day thing. I agree that, ultimately, if somebody can't set up the environment after 2 weeks of fighting with their virtual machine, there's something wrong with them, or there's something really bad with our environments and the way that they need to be set up.
I'm tempted to say you're solving the wrong problem.
Okay.
So instead of getting a virtual box that's got all the pain on it, fix the painful things. So the fact that you need to jump through 6 fiery hoops to make LR services work is the problem. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get that rather than. But I wanted to get in a way that I can do it as many times as I want. That's one of the reasons my machine, it has never blue screen. There's no problems running really quickly. I don't have any crap installed in it. It's because I got my virtual machines. I want to have a new test that automate all of that stuff, and I'm doing it all locally. Eventually, I'm going to have to rebuild this machine because there'll be so much shit installed in it that I'm just going to have to kind of rebuild delete stuff. This way, I don't have to. I can create small virtual environments that can just use it and play with it. For example, in this virtual machine, I got a ton of stuff installed here. One of the problems with XML feeds right now is that it's really slow when you have all the calls of the website on the same website. So this is hotel details. It's got only 5 different pages: rates, review summary, hotel details, and room details. It's just 5 web calls. Rates, it's literally probably takes, I don't know,
22 milliseconds, and I'm throwing 1,000 threads using JMeter, and I can't max my CPU on it. It's that quick. It goes really, really fast. But as soon as I start making calls on the other services, it becomes really slow. It goes up to 2 seconds. So having that virtual machine, I managed to compartmentalize all of the things. I installed, as part of this virtual machine, I also have, because I automated as well, Nginx. I got Nginx there. I also have Elasticsearch with Kibana and my own version of Logstash on this virtual machine. And I can just run all of this and be able to load test using my JMeter scripts that I created. So I got a bunch of JMeter scripts sitting on my D drive. I'll show you. So I got a JMeter folder there. And I got a bunch of stuff here. I got my baseline scripts. I'll actually open it and you guys can see what I'm talking about. Data, programs, Apache, bin, JMeter. It's really small, the writing, because of this new laptops. The resolution is too high, so the text is tiny. There, data, JMeter, baseline. I do apologize, it's quite small there. And here I got different tests that I use. So the way that I did is with using Nginx, I'm doing rewrites on the calls into the hotel APIs to send it to the right virtual machine, on the right IS server, and also load balancing LI external. So now I have a ton of websites sitting here, with a bunch of other software that necessarily I would have to go and install my local machine, and some of them not even work properly. So if I want to test caching, I need a Linux box, because Nginx doesn't work on Windows because of some Windows shared memory, some shared memory setting that doesn't let you do that. So that's easy. I can just create a virtual machine that's got. I can use a Vagrant machine, for example, that already has Nginx already installed and set up to do just that, instead of having to go and do it manually or etc. I think that's the problem I wanted to make. I think there are two problems I want to solve. One problem is allowing people to be quicker, just being faster to do the things they want to do. Had I, if I had installed all of this on my machine today, and then tomorrow I find out that I have to do something else, and I need to now start testing with Vanish or install a different or SQL Server or something else, I might not be able to. I might have to say, can I get another box, or I have to rebuild this because it just doesn't work. So I'm trying to solve that issue. I think it's part of the continuous. It's part of the continuous delivery journey where you want to get into kind of having a build bakery where you can say, click your finger and say, I want X box, and that box is just there for you. You don't have to work and spend loads of time and do it differently every time and possibly introduce issues on while you're doing that, when you can just click your finger with something like that and just get the box that you need and do the work that you need, and not spend time doing all the DevOps. DevOps is only there because they say, why am I wasting time putting the flooring on my house when I just want to look at the carpet? Just give me a house with the flooring, and I just want to put the carpet in there. I don't want to have to build a house for this. So that's one problem I'm trying to solve, by being able to have all this, have all this delay of getting a development environment, whatever it is, whether it's the first time that you're ever having a development environment, or it's just setting up the right type of development environment for you out. But if this is not, I'm not also not, one thing I'm definitely not trying to say is, I'm not saying we're going to work like this from now on, or I suggest we work from this line on. Some people might not want to use it, work for them. The virtual machine their machine doesn't have enough memory, or they just they already went through the pain of setting up the local environment.
Whether it's actually compliant with TUI.
Well, yeah, this is something that we need to find out. And a funny thing, talking about MSDN libraries, there's a box sitting right there with the word VS 2008 sitting there, and there's a ton of Visual Studio licenses with MSDN licenses attached to it, sitting there for Visual Studio 2008. And there's a bunch of stickers with people's names against it, like Paul Sylvester, such and such, and everybody else's name is there. Where's those MSDN subscriptions gone? Where are they?
They weren't MSDN,
Or
they're just Visual Studio.
So I know there is a bigger problem, licensing and stuff. For now, I have started here, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago or 3 months ago, and I'm using my trial versions. I'm going to rebase it later on, and I have another 6 months. By the end of 6 months, I can do it again. What
Like,
security
well,
issue?
to be compliant, you sort of keep track of all the devices and things like that, but also you have to have certain antivirus updates, certain controls. If everyone, but it is indirectly, but it's still on his laptop, which is on the network.
Yeah, but it'd be to script and Vagrant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can just put the...
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
There are
it's a bigger. Yes, definitely. Yeah,
it is.
It's possible. It's all possible to put in there, but I just don't want to get into a stage where everyone's put up all these boxes, and then the next day we're like, you can't use any of them.
Yeah. I mean, we're already doing that. Do you guys put antivirus on the Linux boxes that you use?
Not the minute, not Linux, but Windows.
There is the
certain Linux boxes.
Certainly. So I know there's even some. I think you were helping Gary to get some a build agent to create a new build agent using Vagrant, isn't it?
Yeah,
no, Martin Walton.
Martin Walton did that. So we don't have a specific build agent. So we just got one build agent that starts another build agent virtually to build that stuff, and then it turns off the build agent because it doesn't need it anymore. Yeah, and the other problem is setting up, having actually our software environment set up properly, so it's a life, you know, the live service.
No, I've been using Vagrant for PCI environments, so we have lots of vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So literally just spinning the box up, scanning it for vulnerabilities, then spin it down. It's brilliant for doing things like that.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say a lot of the value of the stuff you've been doing is in terms of the stuff that happens to the layer below Vagrant? So Vagrant itself kind of provisions up a machine. In the single platform / Moonstick team, we're running like an Linux environment with Node. You have Chef, so a lot of the setup of our systems. And likewise, it seems that you've got a lot of PowerShell scripts, chocolatey scripts, that kind of stuff, which kind of these 4 words kind of takes the 6 fiery hoops and just makes it a single script.
Yeah.
So even if the Vagrant bit is kind of turning on the virtual machine.
Yeah, it's what it is, yeah.
But then a lot of the value, I guess, comes from those scripts. So even if you can't do the Vagrant thing, you've got a sort of virgin machine that's freshly minted with Windows on. Essentially, running those scripts is still going to get you up to speed or order of magnitude quicker than doing it the kind of.
And half of the stuff is already done. Like I said, the rake scripts that goes in and install the boxes on, install the applications on our live boxes, already set up on machines. You know, we should be using those as well. Because if you need SVN or if you need Node.js and all of this stuff, we can automate all of that. It's about, I suppose, is saving the time automating this. I think Vagrant is just the ability to do it, a virtual machine whenever you want it, and just use it.
It works well for groups machines as well. My project I was just on, well, the same with Moonstick as well. I think when you fire it up, you do a Vagrant up, it actually fires up a couple of different machines. So, for example, for Moonstick, you get a varnish box and the kind of web server both brought off from Vagrant up. So
I wasn't going to show this today, but yeah, you can create kind of actual entire environments with just one, so you can say start. We're talking about kind of domain. You can create a mini domain. Just have a domain controller with an exchange box and everything else, and all these boxes just pop up with 500 meg each, and then you have like a segregated environment. And he's using NAT at the moment. So, pardon?
You can isolate them so they're not on the network.
Exactly. Yeah. At the moment, mine's using nothing. He's using the same internet, so I can just turn it off. Just have it so it doesn't go to the internet, but my host machine can get to it. Yeah. Is there any other questions or anything? Anybody want to ask anything? No? That's it, really. I mean, There's, I think it's more of a kind of technology preview type of thing. It wasn't really a hands-on thing. Just kind of showed this is what you need to do. I'm creating all these scripts already for automating this, and I'll share it with you guys later today. Okay. But yeah, in the thing is, yeah, there is questions that we need to ask. First, where's our MSDN libraries if we ever had one? So it does has a MSDN subscription. I heard that they do.
TUI does.
TUI does.
That's stopping it completely.
Yeah, because when we wanted Visual Studio
Yeah.
12, we had to buy it.
You have to buy it. Okay.
I think we have got some sort of Studio 12 group license, basically one license kit. But, you know, we get all this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Especially from TUI themselves, they're just not putting on.
you know, so we, you know, it's something to be extremely careful of, because it's all well and good being all like, yeah, we're developers, we just want to do our job and just get.
Oh yeah, completely.
We work for a company that's owned